Well, hello, good evening, everybody. Welcome back. Jiu-Jitsu 2000 here today. I'm back. I hope you guys are doing wonderful out there tonight. It's really late right now. I just got done watching Alone. The Red Notebook is back. I've got a lot to talk about. This was a fantastic episode. We're talking about Alone, Grizzly Mountain, Season 8, Episode 10. The name of this episode is All In. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. If you haven't seen this episode, please turn this video off, go watch that episode, and then come back. Please come back and watch my thoughts. Man, we're going to start with the quote on the screen. It says, "Adversity has the effect of eliciting talents which in prosperous circumstances would have lain dormant." This is a quote by Horace. Horace was a Roman poet. So we're starting this episode off on day 55. Last episode, we started that episode off on day 38 and ended on day 51. We have 4 people left. It's 9:30 in the morning. We're going to talk about Biko for a second. It's 16 degrees Fahrenheit outside. Fish aren't biting his lures. That's not uncommon to see that. He decides he's going to go check his gill net. The gill net is frozen solid. That's got to be frustrating. It's empty too. There's nothing in it. Now, since day one, since the launch of this season, Biko at this point has lost 75 pounds. That's crazy. He's starting to wonder that if he's lost too much weight. He doesn't have as much body fat as he's used to having. He's getting colder easier. So he's sitting in his shelter. He's got a fire made and he's warming up his feet near the fire. And what did he do? By accident, he burned a hole in his socks. Crazy. Just by warming his feet. Gosh, moving forward, day 56 now. 4 people left, 8:52 in the morning. We're talking about Teresa. She can't sleep very good because she's gotten very thin. A lot of bone, no cushion no more. All of her fat's gone. 25% of her body weight she's lost since the launch. That's a quarter of her body. That is crazy. She said she wants to sleep better, so she's looking for kinnikinnick and rose hips. She needs approximately 2,000 calories per day to maintain her body weight at what it is right now, 2,000 calories. And as we all know, none of them out there are getting anywhere near that. It's crazy. She feels like time could be limited. And she's picking the berries in the snow. And she did something really smart. She was very methodical in her approach and how she got over to them berries, and there was a lot of berries there. I was surprised at how many berries there was still there. A lot of snow on the ground. We're moving forward. We're still on day 56. We're with Coulter now. 10:43 in the morning. He made some dice and he was playing Yahtzee, and I thought that was cool. Very good job he did. I've made some wooden dice before too. When I taught jiu-jitsu, I had wooden dice and we would roll them. And the 2 higher numbers of the students that rolled the dice would get to spar each other. And then we'd roll them again and we'd combine the numbers, and that would be how many minutes the match would be. So dice are pretty cool. He decides he's going to go check his gill net and his boat. He's noticing his boat doesn't look right. Something ain't right. He said the boat looks weird. And he goes out there and he finds that the boat is sunk. So moving forward, about 12:30, We're still talking about Coulter. He goes out there on a log, and it's full of snow and ice and stuff, very slippery looking, and he takes a risk to go out there and try to get his boat. But he did a good job. He did a really good job. He was very methodical, just like Teresa was getting those bears. I mean, at this point, people are really slowing down. They're concentrating on every step and everything that they're doing, and Coulter was doing that. He got his kayak or canoe, whatever you wish to call it. He got his boat. He got it safely without falling in the water. I mean, because falling in the water would have been detrimental to him. He noticed, however, that the boat was missing a rib, so he's got to repair that. He said something about the pontoon. Crazy. So moving forward, day 57, we're talking about Clay, 7:30 in the morning. He said he's going to put on another layer. And he's thin. He's lost a lot of weight. It took him 9 minutes to get dressed. Think about that. Every task at this point is tough. It takes a lot to do anything. I mean, it's crazy. It took him 9 minutes to get dressed. So I could only imagine what, at this point, it feels like to film. You know, you got to hike over there, set up a camera, hike all the way back just to get the shot of you walking by or something like that. So if getting dressed took 9 minutes, who knows how much time it takes to set those cameras up. It's crazy. And they're all doing a fantastic job because they're all bringing us fantastic footage. And I want to make a note here, a mental note for everybody watching. What we see on the show is what got edited down. You know, there's a lot more footage that they're producing that we're not seeing that never makes it to the show. So just keep that in mind. They're doing a lot of filming out there. So Clay decides that he wants to go check his gill net. And he said, I must have fish if I'm going to win this thing. The gill net is hung up, but he does have a fish in it. And he's tugging on it and pulling on it. And about 10 o'clock, something breaks. And something breaks on the gill net. But he got the rainbow trout out of there. That fish is probably going to put 2,500 calories in his body. So it's crazy. He's happy. And it's good to see him happy. And he decides he's going to go ahead and set that net again and keep it producing. Because this is, I mean, we're literally down to the hard part of the show here. This is the point where the physical runs away and it's starting to get extremely mental. And even some of the people with the biggest mental toughness, the physical will outweigh the mental. You know, people get pulled. It's crazy. So moving forward, day 58, it's 11:15. We're talking about Coulter. He got something in his left eye, and he's very close to the camera. And they provide the participants out there with a first aid kit and stuff like that. And in that kit, there's a syringe. So he's going to boil some water, and he's going to shoot that. Once it cools down, of course, he's going to shoot that water in his eye and try to get out whatever was in his eye. Which was interesting because Coulter always wore glasses. He had like these glasses on all the time. So it's crazy to see that he got something in his eye. Very crazy. So he flushed out his eye. And he goes out to the boat and he decides he's going to go check his gill net. And today, the day that he checked his gill net, day 58, was also his dad's birthday. So he said happy birthday to his dad. So very cool. And he received a birthday present. Not his birthday, but he got a fish. And he is so excited. I mean, that's everything when you're out there. The little things out there are like huge things. Everything. I mean, it's just it adds up. It's crazy. So he got a fish, and I noticed that it was, the water was so beautiful. The color of the water was beautiful. He got a bull trout. He's going to make some fish soup, and he's happy. He's going to eat, and this is going to stretch him out maybe another day or two anyway. So moving forward to day 59, 8:23 in the morning, we're talking about Teresa, and she's eating rose hip and kinnikinnicks for breakfast. So she basically puts them in a pot, boils them up, and then strains it out. And she's lost a pot hook that she was going to use to get her pot out of the fire, made out of wood, and she doesn't know if she misplaced it or if it fell in the fire or what. So she's going to make a new one. So she's carving a new one, and I was getting nervous watching her carving technique. You know, she was pulling the knife towards herself and stuff like that. And I'm not knocking her, but the thing that crosses my mind, and I'm only speaking about what I'm thinking. These are just opinions, and I'm not trying to discount anybody out there. I never do that. I'm just thinking, I'm just voicing what I see and what I'm personally thinking. And at this point, so far in the game, you know, you've lost so much body weight, and your body might be, your balance and equilibrium and your timing and your muscle memory and all that might be different. So it's when you're handling a knife or any kind of tools, gotta be extremely cautious. And I do believe that she is doing that. So it's crazy. So she got the piece done with her knife, didn't have no problems, and then she gets her saw out to cut the thing off, to cut the end of the piece of wood off, and nicks herself with her saw. And those Silky Big Boy 2000 saw that she's using, they have very jagged teeth. I have one of those saws. In fact, it might be, I thought it was right here, but it's not. Those are fantastic saws. And she nicked her finger, and I'm like, oh my goodness. And she said it's clean, but it's a deep cut. And thank goodness she's okay. And the only thing that came to my mind at that moment is I've done that before plenty of times. And I've been, you know, I wasn't on day 59, you know, so I'm giving her credit even though she had a mistake. And she's tired. She knows that med check is coming soon. She's nervous about that. She's hoping that she can stay. She wants to buy land if she wins the show in Sweden, and she wants to build a home on that land. So she's got high hopes to winning the show. Everybody out there does. Everybody wants the money. We're moving forward, day 60. It's 11:30. We're talking about Coulter. He has a big, huge pile of firewood. He ate that fish, and it gave him some energy, and he's got a big old bunch of poles and stuff. I mean, he's ready for the winter. He did something extremely smart that I don't think we've ever seen in any episode or season of Alone. He made a second gill net. That is super smart. Coulter he's on it. And I'm impressed by that, not just because his thought process is smart, but on day 60, he's still sharp. He's still thinking, you know, and that's impressive to me. I've done 10 days and 15 days, and I can't even think on day 5, you know, sometimes. So to be having that kind of thought process on day 60 is amazing, in my opinion. Second gill net, that's crazy. So he decides on day 61 at 10 o'clock in the morning, he goes out to check his gill net, and he's also going to launch and put out his other gill net that he made. It took him all day the previous day to make that gill net, and it looked fantastic. So 8 o'clock in the morning on day 62 now. We're talking about Clay now at this point. He wants to go check his gill net, but he's a little resistant to doing that because the waves are real choppy. He knows it's going to be probably a task, so he decides not to check the gill net. But he shifts gears. It's too risky. He decides he's going to go look for grouse. So he takes his bow. He's going to go try to find a grouse, and he sees mountain lion scat. Remember that lion that he saw footage of? He sees some fresh droppings. And now his whole thought process changes to, I'm hunting a mountain lion. He decides that he wants to make a predator call, though. So he goes back to his shelter, and he's making a predator call. And then moving forward to day 63, it's 5:30 in the morning. Clay's up early, and he decides he's going to go try to find that cat. And while he's out there, he sees fresh grizzly bear tracks. And what does he do? Something very smart. I love the way Clay thinks. He's so sharp. He decides to call off the lion hunt. He doesn't want to be out there blowing a predator call with grizzly bears in the area. Very, very smart. And like I mentioned about Coulter, Clay gives me the same feeling. It's day 63 and he's still sharp on his thoughts. Very impressive. For those of you who've never been out for a long period of time and felt your brain slipping, I mean, for them to still be thinking on that level, it just goes to show you how sharp they really truly are. And it'd be amazing to see what they're thinking of on a fresh day when they're fully fed, you know. Crazy. So he decides not to call it in. He saw the grizzly tracks, and then he's heading back to his shelter, and within 30 feet of his shelter, he sees a bunch of grizzly tracks all around his shelter. And he's thinking, oh my goodness, this is not good. Moving forward to day 64, 10:20 in the morning. We're talking about Biko now. 22 degrees outside. It's snowing. He wants food. Everybody out there is starving. They want food. He's afraid of getting pulled. He's lost a lot of weight. He's going to go check the gill net, and there's nothing there. So he decides to try a new spot. He shifts gears. Very smart. So Biko's thinking very well too. It's impressive. He said, I'm weak. I'm tired. I'm going to go dig up those onions that I planted from day 48. And he does. I thought that was very smart. And he had the onions in his hand, and it wasn't much. It was not much. I was thinking, oh my gosh. He said this place is getting him down. And then he talks about he has 2 daughters on the way. And he's worn out, but he wants to try to win it for his daughters. And gosh, day 66 comes around. It's 9 o'clock in the morning. We're still talking about Biko. He says, today is the day that I tap. Today's the day I tap out. And then, of course, he's joking. I have mixed feelings about the contestants when they do that, because I think sometimes, maybe I'm wrong, but I think sometimes when they do that, they jinx themselves. And I hope that's not the case with him. So Biko doesn't want to give them any reason to pull him. So he's going to try to do everything in his power to stay out there. So he's walking down around the beach area looking at the gill net, and he finds a tiny frozen whitefish. It's a little fish, like small, 6 inches maybe. I don't even think it was that big. It's probably 35, 40 calories worth of food, but he's happy about it. Even though it's very insignificant, it's still something. It's still a small deposit, and he's happy about it. And now he's starting to think about maybe not winning. And I went from purple ink to black ink. I wrote so many notes down that I ran out of ink in that pen. Crazy. So I hope you guys love these videos. I'm working hard on them. Moving forward, we're still on day 66. It's 10:47 in the morning. Talking about Coulter, he says he's going to go check the gill net. There's nothing. And he mentions that he's nervous again about the med check tomorrow, day 67. He's nervous about it. So we're still on day 66. Moving forward, 3:30 in the morning, in the afternoon, we're talking about Clay. He said this is going to be the longest season ever. We're going to see 115 days. Of course, he's being comical about that. Everybody out there is hurting. He decides that he's going to carve a wooden airplane for his boy, his son. He started this journey to see if he could do it, and now he's proven himself that he can do this. But his focus on why he's out there now has shifted to doing this for his boys. He said the days are dragging on. I talked about that in the last episode. And he said he's losing weight. He said, my desire to be here is gone. But I can't leave till this is over. And I can't leave until either I win or there's no other options for me. And I give him tons of credit, because that's the same way I think. If I was to be selected to go, I think I would have that same kind of thought process. I'm either going to win or I'm going to get told to go home. I give him tons of credit for that. So moving forward, day 67, this is med check day. Oh my gosh, 2:42 in the morning. Coulter doesn't sleep very good. He's nervous about that med check. He says, I don't want to get pulled. 8 a.m., you see a boat coming. He's scared. Teresa, kind of experiencing the same kind of things. She's nervous. She's scared. The med check, she knows she's lost weight. Same thing with Biko. He's worried about his toes. He burnt his hole in his sock. He's also lost a lot of weight. His toes, he's worried about that. He said, if I get pulled, I'm going to be pissed. I would probably feel the same way. And then Clay, same thing. He said, it's not good to be weak on med check day. He said, I can't keep weight on, and I don't know what to do about that. Day 67, oh my gosh, they're showing all 4 of the contestants, and they're doing the med check. This takes quite a bit of time, and every single one of them, they're having to pull their shirts up, and they're thin, all of them. It's crazy. It's all 4 of these people are just battered. This place has kicked their butts. 1:43 in the afternoon, you hear the sound of the crew talking. We don't think it's safe for you to stay in the field anymore. We're going to have to pull you for medical reasons. Holy smokes. And then, of course, they got to go to commercial and keep us hanging. And, oh, my gosh. Then the show comes back, and they're showing Coulter. Coulter gets pulled. Man. And he's crying. He says, I wanted to do better. He said, I'm getting emotional just thinking about it. He's a cool dude. And he said, I felt it coming. I wish I could make my parents proud. And then he says, Dad, we have many more adventures to come. There's no doubt in my mind that he made everybody proud. And he was a rock star out there. He really was. And to come up with 2 gill nets. And then he mentioned something to the effect that he put all his eggs in one basket or something. He said, I put everything into that gill net. It was either gill net or die. And he's kind of starting to second guess his approach out there. You know, what other options did he really have? You know, honestly. I think he did fantastic. So Coulter, if you're watching, man, much love and respect to you. You gave us some great television, and you got a lot to keep your head high about. That was the end of the episode. That was the end of the show. Well, we have one more episode, I believe. And, man, so Coulter, much love to you, man. Your dad is going to be proud. Your mom is going to be proud. You killed it out there. And you went out on your shield, man, like a champion. There's nothing more than you can do than that. You know, yeah, some people might think that you failed because you couldn't find enough food or whatever, but who cares what the naysayers say? You know, you never quit. And you gave us, I mean, the boat was fantastic. You're the only one that had a boat on this season. 2 gill nets. I mean, even on those days that far into the game, your thought process was still sharp. So, man, keep your head up high. And thank you, by the way, Coulter, for showing us your journey, man. Thank you so much. So, folks, that's all I got for you today on this episode. We got one more, and we got 3 people left now. We got Teresa, we have Clay, we have Biko. It's crazy. Clay's getting thin. Teresa's getting thin. Biko's getting thin. What's going to happen? Who knows? Hope you enjoyed these commentaries, folks. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys have a great night. I am tired. It's almost midnight. I'm working hard so I can get these videos out to you guys. So I hope you see that, and please make sure that you check in on my channel on Sundays at 5 Arizona time. I go live every Sunday. So if you guys have questions or you want to interact with me, drop some comments or something, stay tuned for those episodes. I don't know if there's a lot of people knowing about that or not, because it was kind of a quiet thing. I just started doing it. But live at 5 every Sunday, Arizona time. So with all that being said, folks, thank you so much for watching. I love you all. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.